Ask everyone on Zoom to mute.
And hello, everyone on Zoom. Can you mute, please? Hello and mute. I mean that in a kind and caring way. Okay. So I'd like to welcome everybody on Zoom and any newcomers here today. I see. Okay. Let's see. Anybody?
We have 2 new posts.
2 new what? 2 new what?
Posts out front.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Well, we welcome the 2 new posts. I didn't realize that because they just drove straight through. Okay, well that's good to know. So goals for this year are spiritual planning, goals for the year, and spiritual planning and resilience. Those are the 3 themes for this month.
Yes.
And I'm really thinking about resilience these days. I really am, for many reasons. But not only that, but for football. Because today's a big football game.
Yes,
2 football games today. And I have watched, you know, in sports, and I think sports can be spiritual.
Yeah.
A rough kind of spirituality sometimes. But I think of all the resilience of the players and the people and how the comebacks happen. And I watch it and I think, from a spiritual perspective, I'm not looking at competitiveness, I'm looking at what somebody loves to do. They love to do it. And when you do love to do something, it doesn't matter if it's football, ballet, music, there's a resilience there. It comes naturally. I really think that happens. But that's me. Okay, I'll get on with it. Give me a mic and let me go. Anyway. So today we're going to have Jacque Stringer come up and do the meditation. So Jacque, would you like to come up? Let's give her a nice hand. Everybody looks so nice and fresh. And as we feel the vibration of the resonance, from the resonance of that music within, we can gently come back into ourselves and be in this room now. Thank you very much, Jacque. It got very quiet in here. There's nothing wrong with a little bit of peace in our lives, is there? It's beautiful. Thank you. Okay, now we're going to go right into our spiritual thought with John and Lalonde. Let's welcome John.
Good morning.
Good morning, John.
Well, I am going to talk about spiritual. What is it I'm going to talk about? I'm going to talk about the goal for the year, and it's going to have a little bit to do with spiritual planning. But I am going to focus on one sentence, and it is a sentence from a book by John Waterhouse. It's entitled 5 Steps to Freedom, an Introduction to Spiritual Mind Treatment. And we used this in a class that Reverend LJ taught last year. And it's a really dense sentence that I'm going to dissect here. A term I hear a lot on TV these days is unpack. You know, somebody's going to unpack some event or something. And I am going to unpack this sentence because it's got a lot of words that have some really wonderful meanings for what we do here at the Positive Living Center and in religious science and new thought in general. So this sentence captures my goal for the year, if not for a lifetime. And looking at the words in the sentence, we can identify some areas that we may want to focus on, do some spiritual planning around, and really try to come to terms with what we might think about it. So have I built enough suspense about this one sentence? Are you ready? Okay. All right. Here it is. We use spiritual mind treatment to move our creative process out of subconscious automatic reaction to life and into a conscious and intentional interaction with life. So we're talking about moving from one thing to another thing. So the terms, just for people who are not so familiar, and I don't know that I see anyone, but spiritual mind treatment is a term used in religious science, thought for prayer. So they mean about the same thing. It's spiritual mind treatment or prayer is what happens when you go to the back room after a service and have a prayer from a practitioner or a minister. It's what happens when you let Rev Joe know or put something in the frog box that you want prayer. So that's spiritual mind treatment. And the other use of it is for ourselves, and maybe even the more common use, certainly in my day-to-day, is it's a form of prayer that we do for ourselves, focusing on whatever issue we're focusing on. So Ernest Holmes, the founder of religious science, was asked, is spiritual mind treatment the same as prayer? And he said yes. So that's all we need to know, huh? And he went on to explain, if one prays recognizing the power of God or divine spirit, and the person praying realizes that our unity, our oneness with spirit, then prayer is spiritual mind treatment. So this prayer is addressing our creative process. Those are some terms in this. And just a few words about that it's behind whatever we change and adapt and how we conduct our lives. It starts with our thoughts and emotions and flows forth with spirit. So it is how we change things. It's how we move. It's how we adapt to things. So the target of this sentence here, the target of spiritual mind treatment is to move out of subconscious automatic reaction to life. So this is the state that we're wishing to move out of through receiving a prayer. And so first of all, subconscious, that's below the level of awareness. It's the result of life experience. It's the training and conditioning we get from parents and teachers and trauma and relationships and events and TV and everything that comes into our view can influence us, and that can be done at a real subtle level below our level of conscious awareness. It's often automatic, meaning not much thinking goes into this subconscious reaction to life, and that sort of accounts for the lessons that we inadequately learn in life, the things that we repeat. Wherever you move, you still are. That saying. And it can lead to a pattern of bad choices, acting out of these subconscious automatic reactions to life. So this reactive to life is kind of like the knee-jerk reaction. That if you think about a knee-jerk reaction, that comes from medicine, where a medical professional taps your knee and your knee just jerks. It's that automatic. You don't put any thought into jerking your knee forward. It just happens. Knee-jerk reaction. We hear that. And no thought goes there. It's just a stimulus and then this jerk response. And I just have to say, this jerk response reminds me of something that at home, that Joyce and I have been married 33 years, and sometimes I will make a jerk response verbally. I don't kick her, but just a something that I say. She's learned over those 33 years that she can just say my father's name. His name was Jacque, and he was a loving, considerate, good father. But he could give some knee-jerk reactions. Archie Bunker could flow from his mouth very easily. And so when she calls me Jacque, that kind of jerks my chain, and I realize that, okay, I need to rephrase that in line with my better values. So that calling me Jacque actually triggers me to take a look at that subconscious kind of verbal garbage that just flowed forth. So the role of spiritual mind treatment or prayer is to move out of this kind of thoughtless, automatic reaction to life and into something different. So the sentence again, we use spiritual mind treatment to move our creative process out of subconscious, automatic reaction to life and into conscious and intentional interaction with life. So now let's unpack those words. So the conscious, we're bringing it into our thoughts. We're thinking about the issue before us. We're meditating, reading, talking with others, taking classes, seminar, petting our dogs, whatever it is that we do to bring our thoughts better in line with our highest values. It's not a thoughtless knee-jerk reaction, but a thoughtful consideration with analysis and awareness and a continuous recognition that everything, everywhere is spirit. So intentional. We know since it is the season of football, and we know that it's a very spiritual thing, especially, at least there's a lot of praying going on, but we know from commentators on this that the team that wants it more will likely get it. We hear that. So with intention, you gotta want it. That's the thrust of that. So we need to create the space, make our intention clear and committed in our mind, and allow spirit to flow with it. So I read a nice quote from Antoine de Saint-Exupéry, who is the author of The Little Prince. And I'm sure I mispronounced that name. But this quote illustrates the feeling state that solidifies and empowers intention. And his quote is, if you want to build a ship, don't drum up people together to collect wood and then not assign them tasks and work, but rather teach them to long for the endless immensity of the sea. I love that. I thought that it just puts yourself in the desired state of mind and feeling, and that brings power to the intentions that we set for ourselves in our life. So the last section is conscious and intentional interaction with life. So this is in contrast to the automatic reaction to life, where we're kind of going through life like a pinball game, just being bouncing off the bumpers of life. So this is interaction with life in a conscious and intentional way is really an expression of our greatest self. We're allowing our love and spirit to flow out and mingle. We're fully present, engaged, interacting with life in a conscious way, and we're sharing that love with others, and we're being swaddled by it in reply to a response from others. That is the interaction. So there's another quote I want to use, and this is from Marshall Rosenberg, who wrote Nonviolent Communication, another book that we used in a class with LJ. He wrote, "What I want in my life is a flow of compassion between myself and others based on mutual giving from the heart." And that is this interaction that I'm talking about. It is engaged, and it is interacting, and it is loving, and it is from our best selves. So, in conclusion, my goal for the year is to do more of this, to be more conscious and intentional and interact with life. And so it is.
Well done, John.
I think that's a really great goal. I think I might tag on to that goal myself. You can feel the love flow there. You can feel that. Thanks, Jackie. Our speaker today is none other than the wonderful Rev Joe Bull.
Well, thank you for that introduction. Good morning. Yes, there is a lot of, John's right about football, there's a lot of religion and spiritualness going on during a football game. I remember last week I was watching the game and something made me say, oh my God. So I know that everyone's feeling that kind of spirituality in those kind of exciting games like that. John was talking about his wife can say a certain word to him that can trigger him. And my wife does the same thing. If I say something that she's not really pleased with, she doesn't change my name, she just says, Joe. And it reminds me of my mother because she used to say, Joey, and okay, I'm back. So I understand about these things. I want to talk to you a little bit about goals for the year too, and each year that we do those. My first question is, do you speak to yourself? On a regular basis, do you sit down and talk to yourself about what it is that you want to set for a goal or for a day? It's very important, I think, if you embrace yourself, and you embrace yourself in the mornings when you get up. Do you say good morning to God? Do you say good morning to yourself? Because you're talking to one and the same at the same time, our higher self and ourself. I think that's a very important way to start a day. And sometimes I proclaim, hey, I'm here again today, so I must be here on purpose. I must be, as we all are. And I can do all this without even having a cup of coffee yet. So that's big. That's as far as I can go. What is our purpose each day? Do we have designs on each day? Do we have goals come to mind? Or do we kind of mix goals with chores that we must do? Now, chores is kind of a goal in a way, isn't it? Because we know that there are certain things we need to do to get organized for the day, to plan out our day. So it is part of a short-term goal for us to do those things. I check in with myself to see how I am doing. That's what I first want to do. Know how I'm feeling and what am I up to for today? What do I feel like I can do today? And do we feel good about what we've accomplished the day before? If so, do we announce to ourselves, I think I'll take it easy today. Just kind of sort of a reward for working so hard yesterday. We take a day off for ourselves. These really aren't truly goals, are they? They're more like chores, to-do lists that we know must get done in our daily lives if we want to be organized at all. I remember my mom, when I was a little boy, I'd come home from school, my room would just be neat and clean and orderly. And I know I didn't leave it like that. And she came in and sat down with me and she says, do you like the way your room looks, son? I said, I love it. It's great, Mom. She goes, good, because I'm through doing this for you. I want you to help me. I have a lot to do today. And if you would just keep your room like this, then things would be easier for me. And it teaches me about organization myself. And so I did. And that was my first step into helping my mom. I had no idea I was making her upset. I thought she just said it out of love. I didn't know. So we all learn lessons as we move along. Do we set goals for a whole year? Have you ever done that? Lalonde had mentioned before that in years past we would sit down a new year and we'd write down certain goals that we wanted to get done for a year, and we put it at the end of that calendar. By the time we got through with December and pulled that up, there was the goals. And yes, she's right. We had obtained and done all those goals that we wrote down. I forgot about them, but it just came. It came to us and we got things done that way. So that's a great way of reminding us of what we can and can't do. And what we don't get done, maybe it just wasn't that important to us at that time. It's okay. Are we in between our past goals and what we're designing for this year? We're going to pull that goal out again this year and see if we can get it done? Or are we just going to say, apparently that's not important to me, so let that go? I sort of shuffle around in my mind what worked last year versus what I want to accomplish in this year. Maybe you do the same thing. On top of all that going on in my mind, I have the media floating around in my head, leaving me to know what's good and what's bad out in the world, reminding me that things aren't so good around the world. I also try to keep up with what's happening with the Kardashians, because they're always in trouble. And what about Taylor Swift and her romance with Travis Kelce? And the feud between the royal family and their problems. And don't forget about keeping up with all of the recalls in our food, our medicine, our cars. Got all of this going on in my head. And through it all, we are planning our new goals for a brand new year. And then through all of that, I still got to sit down and go, what's for dinner tonight? That's the most important goal. So we can put all kinds of pressures in our head if we allow that to happen to us. We get all mumbled up, and we got to sit down and get still with God, source. This new year is birthing itself, with or without us, hopefully with us. We are letting go of this old year and the ideas we had for it, except for that one idea that we've been trying to get done for the last 5 years. We still keep hanging on to that, don't we? Eventually we'll get to that. And maybe this is the year I get to that one too. Now that my wife is retired and home with me, I think I can get it done, because she will remind me too. We remember to get still and stop the noise and go within, because we remember that our spiritual practices reminds us to meditate. When we sit and meditate, we're talking to ourselves, right? We're going within and having a discussion with ourselves. And when we pray, we're talking with God. That's the difference between meditating and prayer for me, is talking with myself, going within and getting still, and then going into prayer for what it is that I do want. As we go within, we all know that new ideas emerge. This new and improved us is coming through. By getting still and going into prayer, meditation, conversations with myself or my higher self, God's Spirit, that new and better way of living daily, begins to rise up with this. It becomes clear, very clear, we are relaxed in our minds, releasing the old so the new can begin. We have to let go of the old, right? And all things, so the new can rebirth itself. It's time to rise and shine. Our focus is now, today, forward. Lifting our frequency, realizing once again that God's Spirit is for us all in all things. Opening our minds to a new me, to a new you. Releasing my negative thoughts, letting go of worry and fear and limits, doubt, not enoughness, lackness. Start anew. Let all that go. That's how we can move forward. As we open our minds with God's Spirit, because we know that universal law is the stabilizing force for all of us. That's why we come and listen in church. That's why we pray here. That's why we learn about New Thought, because we know it works for us. We've seen it time and time again. We know that all things are possible with the universal law is at work. The sun shines with radiant light, beaming down on us. The ocean continues to push her waves to our shores. And it's all a steadfast thing that happens with or without us. That's the beauty of Mother Earth. Something we can count on. Which means we can know and count on God's Spirit to lift us, inspire us, guide us. It is a sure thing, isn't it? All we need to do is step toward it. Step toward our goals in confidence because God is in the mix of everything. Achieving a goal must have a purpose for us, right? For it to feel like we can accomplish this, a goal is set with the end in mind. Now, I suggest if you're going to make goals, make small goals initially, if you haven't done it before. Make it a short, easy, small goal that you know you can obtain. Because every time you have a success with a small one, the bigger ones get easier as we move forward toward those. There must be something in us, around us, that helps us strive and achieve daily. A goal is designed by us to bring us purpose, joy, and accomplishment. We have to accomplish, don't we? To be in joy, we have to be doing something. Whether the goal is to be better organized or want better health, better financial abundance, better relationships with family or friends, whatever it is, if we make it fun along the way, it's easier to obtain. Have fun with it. Don't make it a chore. Don't make it a gotta do. It's something that we want to do. All of this is easier through using our powerful connections. We start out by focusing on a particular simple thing we want to change to our lives, to make our lives easier. In setting a goal, write it down so you can see it daily. Write it down someplace so you see it. Put it on your mirror in your bathroom so you look at it each and every morning and this is what I'm going to do today. Tell someone what your goal is, because it seems to increase the likelihood that we will get it done. Break the goal down into steps, especially a big goal, one step at a time to get there. Plan your first step, keep it going daily. Check off each step once accomplished, and then celebrate your success with somebody. Hey, this is what I did. This is what I set out to do, and I made it. We want to make a goal fun along the way. If it's hard to do, we probably just won't do it. We may just give up. Talking with God first and along the way of a goal helps our focus, gives us the courage to see it through. Now, having a partner to join you in this goal really, really helps a lot. Whether it be a friend, a spouse, a relative, well, maybe not a relative. Relatives have a tendency to tell you why you can't make it. So maybe not a relative. They know you too well. But anyway, if we are going to work toward a goal, we have God right there, like I said, in the mix of all things. What about a spiritual goal? Do you have spiritual goals? I do. Each and every day of my life, I have spiritual goals. How are we feeling deep down inside? The people around us and the universe as a whole, how are we doing with everything around us? Because we need to get centered first spiritually, don't we? If we really want to have true success and be content with who we are first. So very important. And then how do we consciously work to create a better space for ourselves and for those we love? Spiritually, we can generally define it as searching for the ultimate meaning and purpose in life. To find and continue to seek out personal growth. We must keep growing. This again is where our spiritual practices come into play. As we get centered, our minds open up to new ideas and goals become more clear and easier. If a goal is hard to do, maybe that goal's not for you. Remember, we are pulled by inspiration and guided along the way. Always pulled by inspiration. We are finding out that life is for us. Discovering once again that we do have the power to change our lives into whatever it is that we are seeking. We unite with God's Spirit in itself to love and appreciate, which in turn opens us up to all possibilities. All possibilities. If we forget those things, we have practitioners and ministers to remind you of this. Each and every day we're available to you. We continue to know that life is worth exploring, and we move through the goals with excitement and fun. And fun. My goal this year is to have fun each and every day. To stop and laugh at myself, to laugh with others. And let the heavy stuff go away. Let it just fall away. We go forth with our intentions that come from within us, always. Yes? And so it is. Thank you.
Okay. Oh, my voice is coming back. Thank you so much. So many wonderful things have been sung and fed, and it's so nice to be here. I'm going to ask for two people who would like to step up and maybe take these two baskets, and we're going to do the offertory right now. And before we do that, we'll say our little offertory prayer. And we're very grateful. Gratitude is at the basis of all this. So, divine love flowing through me
blesses and increases all that I give and all that I receive.
I wish I had a short story to tell you right now. None of my stories are short. They're long.
Good point.
So I won't tell you the short story. I'll just say, I'm glad everybody's here. And it's such, one of the things I will say, and I know this is crazy, it's the weather, talking about the weather. I just can't believe how nice it's been out, because I just had my birthday and it's usually a drizzly, rainy, dreary day, and it wasn't like that. So things are changing. Thank you very much.
Yeah, welcome.
Thank you.
Yes.
All those on Zoom can contribute as well. I kind of missed that little step here.
It's okay, Missy put it up in chat.
She did, and Missy put it up there, so that's great. And it's in the email that LJ does, and you can send a check to the Positive Living Center. I'm not going to say it because it's a PO box and it's online, so you can see it there. Thank you very much for all of our contributions. It really makes a difference, and we're very grateful for that. So our prayer partner this week is none other than JL, John Lalonde, and so you can see him in the back room there if you like. And I would take advantage of this wonderful thing that we have for everyone here. If you need to talk about anything or you want to have a prayer partner, that's John today, and I think he would feel really wonderful about that. Okay, next week's speaker is Sandy West at the beginning of the month. So please do come for that. And we've always got some surprises going on. We always do. So I think we'll do now, let's see, what do I want to say? Well, I want to thank all of our speakers today, and our musician, our singer. I think we're so blessed to have this kind of talent in our midst, and we get to call on that all the time, and we get new ideas. I'm really grateful for that, and I thank you all for your insights, because I think about it. I'm sitting here, I'm listening, we're all a captive audience, and it's wonderful. So we take that with us throughout the whole week. All righty, so let's do the prayer of protection. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds me. The power of God protects me. The presence of God watches over me. The energy of God is me. Wherever I am, God is, and all is well. So we'll now have, I want everyone to have a great week too. I'm thinking this is going to be a wonderful week. What would you like? Announcements. I knew I forgot something.
Was that divine intervention?
It was a hand that went up, and that's divine intervention. A hand went up, I went, oh, I forgot the announcements. So what, you have an announcement, Sandy? Oh, come on up. And anyone else that has an announcement? We're actually doing well for time.
I just want to mention that there's an art show coming up that I'm a part of. Also, the artist who did this quilt here is in the art show. It's Palettes and Pathways, 9 artists' perspectives. And it's opening February 9th, and on the 10th is a reception. You can go to the flute circle, then come over to the reception, or you can go to the reception and then go to the drum circle. And then the show will be up for a whole month. And there are some cards back here somewhere, and I have a few. But it's local, just a couple miles away, and you're all welcome, and I hope to see you there.
Ooh, great, Sandy.
I just want to let you know that there is a sign-up sheet for spiritual conversations and using the books or whatever book you would choose, but the 2 that were considered last time were This Thing Called You by Ernest Holmes and Practical Spirituality by John Randolph Price. And the idea here, if you haven't heard about it yet, is that any 2 or 3 of us could get together any way that's convenient for the 2 or 3 of us that would want to get together, as frequently as you would want to get together. In other words, it's wide open for the idea that you could read a couple pages and talk. Read a couple pages and talk. And just share these spiritual ideas that come forth in these books. They've been really rich when Joe and I are having conversations about them in the morning. It's something we've enjoyed so much. And since we don't have classes going on in the wintertime, it's kind of a fun way to stay connected as well. So there's a sign-up sheet in the back. There were 5 John Randolph Price books in the back. They're all gone. So somebody's somewhat interested. And so please sign up if you'd like. I'm happy to support either coming together and getting your mojo and getting your atmosphere. I'm happy to support that any way I can. The additional thing I want to announce is that my office is cleared out except for large furnishings and a copier coming our way. And so it's completely cleared out in Fresno. And that means we have cups and coffee accoutrements and all kinds of things in the back. And I'm going to loan my Nespresso machine to the church for a while. And because I've got a bunch of coffee things that I could never drink because I don't drink caffeine that much, believe it or not. So I'm going to bring them here for you to enjoy, and they'll be arriving soon, and I hope you do. That's it.
Thank you, thank you. Just sit down, Kim, they'll tell you.
Don't drink caffeine, my foot.
Not much.
Too much. Love you too. Leanne this morning. Hi, Leanne. Raise your hand for us, Leanne. Thank you. She brought us some goodies in the back table this morning. I think she brought brownies this morning for us. So please enjoy that. She's back. That's great. So thank you, Leanne, for that. We love you. Thank you.
Yes.
Okay, Kim, I don't see anybody.
Towards the
Quick.
mic. I see somebody else. Okay. long jog up here.
Well, I need a little exercise, that's why I'm doing this. Yeah, so John, inspire someone to long for the sea, even if they really don't know how to build a boat. It's kind of my condition. I have some goals, small goals. One is to hang my keys on the drywall screw that I hung by my door, because I'm constantly trying to figure out where my keys are. And then my latest trouble is now I'm really getting good at hanging my keys on the door. So I find myself frantically looking around for my keys because I habitually I'm not able to find my keys, and they're hanging by the door. So that's one of my goals. And then one of my goals is to clean out maybe some of the 70,000 emails I have on my Gmail account.
They let you keep that many?
I'm just looking for I'm just doing whatever they'll allow me to do. That's kind of my thing. Then the other goal that I have is my colleagues and I are applying for the X Prize, which is the prize for the most efficacious way to remove carbon from the atmosphere. And I've been blessed with this longing to sail or to nurture life and to reverse global warming. And so one of my small goals on the way is with my collaborators is applying for the X Prize, and we have a process that I believe is going to really help us conquer global warming. And so I just wanted to announce that and maybe put it in mind for all of you that we together can solve these greater problems. Yeah, it's important to pick small goals that we can achieve on a daily basis, but let's not release ourselves from our own personal responsibility to collectively take care of this beautiful planet that we live on and each other, and we can solve problems that are large also. So.
Thank you.
Alrighty, is anybody else? We're doing really good here today. Okay then, those are all wonderful things. I'm going to invite up our wonderful Sandy Breast to pray. Pray for us for the whole week ahead and for now, in this moment.
You look so comfy.
I am.
Close your eyes, please, and join me in the sacred knowing that all is well in our lives, that we are surrounded by spirit and immersed in this loving consciousness that knows no bounds. When you go forth today, take that with you. Spread it around and share it as you gaze into people's eyes, as you say hi, as you're courteous, as you do whatever it is that you do. Life is for living, and it's up to us to make the most of it. So I accept that today we are all living to our highest divine potential, and all is well. And so it is.
Do we have more music?
Yeah.
Okay, that's terrific. We'll have another song from Jacque Singer.
I do have